Hi, I'm going to show you how to make a stool, a parametrically designed stool in Fusion 360. So I'm starting with a sketch, and actually I'm going to go to modify first, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a variable. I'm going to call this thick, and I'm going to make it 6 millimeters and click OK. Now I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to start in the center here, and I'm going to use that variable I just created, the thick variable, and I'm going to multiply this times 15. And this is going to give me a 150 millimeter stool, and this will be the seat of the stool. Next thing is I'm going to add some center point rectangles right in the middle. On one of the dimensions, I'm going to call it thick, so it'll be 6 millimeters, and then the other one is going to be thick times 15. So this should give me 90 millimeters, or about 9 centimeters. I need a horizontal one and I need a vertical one. So this is me doing the vertical one right here. And again, on one of the dimensions, it's going to be thick times 15 to give me 90 centimeters. And the other one's going to be thick, which is 6 millimeters. Sorry, 90 millimeters and 6 millimeters. There we go. Now I'm going to start to draw the bottom of the stool. So I'm going to create, again, a center rectangle. I'm going to place my center rectangle on a line. So make sure that you pick a line and put the center point on that line. And the dimensions are going to be thick and then thick times 15. And that'll give me the 6 millimeter and 90 millimeter rectangle. I'm now going to create another one, and I'm going to center it on that same line that I centered the above rectangle. And the dimensions are going to be thick and then thick times 25. And that'll give me my 6 millimeter by 150 millimeter rectangle. I'm going to select the dimension tool or type the letter D, and I'm going to select the bottom line of my bottom rectangle and the top line of my top rectangle, and I'm going to change this to thickness, thick, times 40. Next step is I'm going to draw some lines. I'm going to draw a line from the bottom corner, bottom left corner of my top rectangle to the top left corner of my bottom rectangle, and then do the same on the other side. The next step is to draw a line all the way down the middle of the shape, and that's why it was important to center this on the shape. The next step Now I'm going to draw a 3 millimeter horizontal line from that midline I just drew by doing thickness divided by 2. I need to then draw a line from that little line that I just drew all the way to the top of the shape. And that should be 120 millimeters if it's done correctly. My next step is to mirror. So what I'm going to do is select that vertical line that I drew all the way to the top and that tiny little horizontal line that's 3 millimeters. And then I'm going to select a mirror line and I'm going to mirror those across that line. I'm going to do the same process vertically. So I'm going to mirror the two lines that appeared on the right and left of the midline. And my mirror line will be that tiny 3 millimeter line. And that'll give me two rectangles, top and bottom. My next step is to copy the shape. So I'm going to type the M key and I'm going to select everything and I'm going to click the little copy button. And then just using one of the arrows, I'm going to pull over a copy of those legs. So these are the legs of the stool. So I need two of them. You can see the advantage of using a variable because now if I change the dimensions on this and change it from 6 millimeter to 12 millimeters, it's going to change all my drawing to match that so everything is proportionally increased. Lastly, I'm going to finish my sketch. I do want to show you that you can change your dimensions also in the parametric view here. So you can go up to modify, change parameters, and I'm going to change back to 12 millimeters. My next step is to extrude all of these sketches. So I'm going to choose extrude and I'm going to select all of these faces in here. And I need to be a little bit selective about this. This is going to be one of the legs that are going to slot together. So I'm going to select all of the parts on the bottom, but not the middle rectangles on the top. So I'm going to leave a slot on the top, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this side, except I'm going to leave a slot on the bottom. And you'll see I'm selecting all of these little rectangles that are everywhere, but not the bottom rectangles. And then I'm going to select the chair also. And I'm going to extrude these up by thick so that they're extruded by 6 millimeters. My next step is to rotate these legs up. So I'm going to select the move or type in the letter M, and I'm going to rotate both of these legs 90 degrees. We want them vertical. The next step is to create some components because I need to do some assembly. So I'm going to right click on bodies and create components from bodies. Now, I've done my assemble, I've clicked on assemble, and I'm going to find the center of these slots. So the very center of that square in the center of the slot. And I'm going to select one and then I'm going to select another. It's a little tricky sometimes trying to get it. But when I do this, they're going to join together. Now they're flat right now, so I'm going to take one of them and rotate it 90 degrees so that they're at right angles to each other. So you can see that I'm rotating these 90 degrees so that they are 90 degrees perpendicular to each other. I'm now going to assemble the seat onto the legs. To do this, I'm going to use the assemble again, and I'm going to use a different assembly. I'm going to use the edge assembly, and I need to pick two edges so they're at right angles to each other. So I picked those two edges, and I'm going to do the same thing on the top or the seat of the chair. And I'm going to pick the same two edges. It's a little tricky again. So that edge and that edge. And when I select them both, you'll see that I end up with an assembled stool. All right, thank you for watching.